In today's video, we have a good one. This is going to be how to fulfill for your clients with a lead generation agency. If you're running a lead gen agency and you've scaled it past, say, 10K a month, or you've even started signing clients and fulfilling for them, you will know fulfilling for your clients is not as easy as obviously fulfilling for yourself. Having a lead gen offer is extremely attractive on the front end, and I still believe it is one of the best business models to have, as you're ultimately selling something that is recession proof. There's always going to be a need for this. Right? No matter what business you run, you're always going to need more leads and more sales. This means that you can start making sales relatively easily for your agency and you can scale it to 10K per month. But then most people, and this actually happened to myself as well, run into an issue of fulfillment. I found it way more difficult to fulfill for my clients and get them sales calls than I did for myself. And I learned 3 things I'm going to break down for you in today's video that you can implement into your agency straight away to see more success, to minimize your churn, maximize your retention, increase your LTV from your clients, and overall run a more profitable agency, right? Ultimately, your offer, if you're doing lead generation, is you sell leads for other businesses. That is a complete no-brainer offer. I know there's thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people in the market now trying to sell this, so it's not as easy as it used to be, but ultimately it's still a no-brainer offer, right? Who wants to say no to more sales? But what happens when you're selling other offers such as recruitment, which I was in for a long time, insurance, etc., that sort of thing? People don't find it as attractive, and you'll ultimately find it way harder to sell this service than your own. Right, so like I said, I'm going to break down 3 things that helped me with fulfillment for my lead gen agency. So if you don't own a marketing agency, click off this video right now. This is just for people who are owning marketing agencies and you want to get better results for your clients and increase your LTV, right? First one is going to be the 10x rule. This is specifically for cold email, right? This is just a rule that I have basically created for myself, and it's that you need to do around 10 times the volume for your clients versus what you do for yourself to get the same results. This means if you're booking 20 calls a week for yourself by sending 2,000 emails a week, you typically, if you want to get 20 calls a week for your client, you need to send 20,000 emails a week. That's just a general rule of thumb. I genuinely don't think you can go wrong with this. It sounds stupid simple. It sounds super stupid simple, but it's true, because the likelihood is you're probably working with clients that have demand capture offers rather than demand generation offers. If you're doing this very well and you're a very successful lead gen agency, you're probably working with the best offers already, and you may not need this sort of help, right? But if you are in this situation, it's probably because you're working with businesses that have demand capture offers. What is a demand capture offer? It means people need it in the first place. People need what you're selling, otherwise they won't buy it. Demand generation offers can create demand out of thin air, such as lead generation. If I walk to any business, right, I go to any business and I say, I can get you more sales, get you more leads. They don't need to be thinking about that right now. And they'll go, yeah, sure. Like, of course I want more sales and more leads. It creates demand. Whereas if I'm talking about life insurance or something, you have to actually have a need for that to purchase it. You don't just purchase it for no reason, because it's not going to add extra revenue, extra sales to your business. Okay, and you can't frame some things like this in a way that does. Right? There's certain videos I've made in the past, and you can check my channel, where you can frame certain demand capture offers as demand generation to create demand, or at least on the front end, frame it in a different way. But for the most part, you can't change the offer that much. You just have to work with what you've got. So the thing is, you're not going to get the same results and the same KPIs and the same metrics as you do for yourself. You need to understand that. I just assume it's going to be 10 times worse for my client. So I do 10 times the volume to make up for that. This, of course, means you need a bigger TAM, you need a bigger market, of course, and your client needs to be okay with that, and you need to work through that with them together. But that's just the first rule of thumb. Like I say, sounds stupid simple, but it's actually what you need to do if you want to be delivering results on the back end for your clients. Instead of sending 2,000 emails a week, send 20,000. Right? And if you want a way to get cheaper inboxes and email accounts, you can actually join our school community. We actually resell inboxes at $2.50 per month instead of $5 a month through the likes of Instantly. So that can help out on that front. That's the first one, the 10x rule. The next one we've got is actually that communication actually trumps results. This might seem crazy and people might disagree with me for this. I might get a bit of hate for this, but this is genuinely true. Communication and working on the right things with your client will actually trump the amount of calls that you book them. And I've had this conversation with numerous people who have run lead gen agencies before. Perception is more important than reality in some cases, right? I read this actually from Stephen Bartlett's book, Diary of a CEO, and he talks about how perception is more important than reality. Perception is your own reality, right? And the perception of having something that is more valuable is going to be more important than the actual value it holds itself. What am I talking about here? What I mean is that if your client is speaking with you and they're asking you questions, they want to know what's going on, they want updates, they want to know what you've been working on, and if you're telling them every single day, you're getting back to them within 30 minutes, hey, we've done this, hey John, we've just set up 30 email accounts, hey John, we changed the strategy here today, hey John, we changed the copy here today. You're keeping the client in the loop and they can see exactly what you're working on. That is valuable perception, right? That's higher perceived value. Now that communication is absolutely key, because ultimately what's going to happen when things are a bit slow, and they will be at some point with some clients, right? It just will happen. It's part of the game. The way you're going to overcome that is with great communication and showing what you're doing to overcome this. Clients generally aren't that annoyed about bad results if you get them, in the first couple of months, because they know things take time. What they get really, really pissed off about is if you have bad communication. So if you have good communication with your clients, this genuinely will give more value to them than just giving them book calls. Because I've had the other case as well, where we have literally signed clients for clients. We've made them $20,000 of certain contracts, and they have still been extremely unhappy with the result because our communication was bad. And that is a lesson that we learned, and I'll own up to that with our agency as a lesson that we learned, where communication wasn't as tight as it needed to be. So learn from my mistakes, don't make them yourself, please. Don't just focus on delivering the sales calls and neglect everything else, as I did at one point in my agency. Focus on the communication and building a relationship with your client. That will genuinely get you so much further, okay? That is the truth. Everyone who runs a marketing agency who's run it for some time knows this, okay? The other thing is using intent-based triggers. So like I said, demand capture offers are different to demand generation offers because people have a need for this right now. They're not just going to think of, oh, life insurance, great, yeah, I really want that. It's only when they have a need for it, okay? So if you're selling services such as recruitment, for example, which obviously is space I was in for a long time, you'll need to be finding companies who have a need for recruitment right now, rather than just blasting the whole market, because you want to make this as efficient as possible. So you'd want to look for companies that are hiring, have just received funding, have had new senior leadership. You can also, reach out to companies based off their tech stack. You can use tools like Clay to do this, okay? So you need to use intent-based triggers, and obviously you can use AI to create a custom email to each individual prospect as well for this sort of method. But if you're using intent-based triggers, it means that you're going to be landing in front of more relevant prospects, and you're going to have a higher likelihood to actually convert them, rather than just blasting the whole market. So these three things, if you implement these into your back-end fulfillment strategy, you're going to get better results for your clients, and they're going to be happier, right? The main thing is satisfaction. As long as they're seeing value in what you do, they're going to continue working with you, and you can continue to provide more results. So 10x your volume if you're not currently seeing results, increase your level of communication and your frequency of communication, and start to use intent-based triggers to find companies that would actually have a need for this service right now. Do all of those three things, and I guarantee you'll get better results on the back end for your clients. If you want to learn a bit more about how you can deliver results for your clients, like I say, and also get cheaper inboxes, these sorts of things, then join our completely free school community. Link is in the description, and I'll see you there.